5 words. 5 words mentioned once when I was only 10 years old had a profound impact on the rest of my life. Have you ever said anything that you regretted? Have you ever had something said to you that has had an impact on your life? Fellow Toastmasters, when I was 10 years old in elementary school, I had a classmate, Frog Nose. Well, that's what I called him. Lovingly, of course. I'm not sure he quite took it that way. One day when we were out on the playground playing Frisbee, he picked up the Frisbee, and from about 5 feet away, he threw it and bounced it off my temple. I was, of course, upset. I chased him down. He ran behind a group of his friends. I looked him square in the eye and I said, "I wish you were dead." Well, recess was over and we went in. It was Friday. The weekend came and went. On Monday, I was not at school and returned on Tuesday. And we went out for recess. I went looking for him. I asked a friend of mine, "Where's Frog Nose?" He just stared back at me in disbelief. See, on Monday, when he was coming to school, as he crossed the street, he dropped some of his homework and he turned to pick it up, and the car never saw him and took his life. I knew that my words, those 5 words, were responsible for his death. I carried that weight on my shoulders. I lost my words. I did what it took to get through day to day, going through schools, never really got involved in anything until one summer. There was a road race that went around the lake where we went to for vacations, and I thought that that would be a good event to partake in. And of course I practiced, and by practice I mean I went around the lake one time prior to the race, so that was enough practice. I mean, it was just running. So race day came, and I went right up to the front, and the gun went off, and I started running, and that first mile I was out running. Mile 2, 3, and 4 weren't as good, and mile 5 was just pitiful. At the end of the race, a family friend of ours came to me and said, "You really did good out there." He obviously hadn't seen mile 5, but he said to me, "You need to run cross country in high school." I didn't even realize there was such a sport in school. So I went out, I found the team my freshman year, and I actually ran varsity. And it built up my confidence. It gave me some of my self-esteem back, but I still did not have my words. I did not have my voice. 2 years later, I went to a church conference, a weekend retreat. I knew what these weekend retreats were about. It was spending time with your friends, the activities that were around. This one was in the winter, so we planned on some tubing and sledding, and then they had these events in between where the speakers talked to you. We were forced to go through that part so that we could have the fun that we were there for. The speaker was up there, and I was half paying attention to him until he started telling a story about a young child that had been hit by a car. Right away, I started paying attention to that speaker and what he had to say. And there were 5 words that he said that impacted me. those 5 words were, it was a tragic accident. And that's when I realized that it was not my words that had taken that classmate's life. It was a tragic accident. And at that point, I regained my voice. And it had been several years since I had used my voice, so I had a lot to say. I went back to school and I found all kinds of places where I could talk. One of those was our Department of Social Services that gave me the opportunity to go out and speak to young children on different programs. And I signed up for those programs and I started speaking. And I found out I enjoyed it. And that is what has brought me here. This is what has allowed me the opportunity to speak to you. So I have to ask you, are there any words that you have said that have been weighing on you, that have kept you from using your voice? You need to realize that they weren't your words. And you can either go back and take those back, you can apologize for those, and if you don't have that opportunity, you have to just let it go. Lift that weight off of your shoulders. Because there might be someone else out there that needs to hear you say, it was a tragic accident. They may need to hear you say, you need to run cross country. But they need to hear your voice. So when you are given the opportunity to speak, you need to get out there and use your voice.